What's the best way to approach a girl and get her number?
How should a man approach you if he wants to get your number?
He shouldn't approach me unless he's at least 6'4".
It's no secret that women like to be approached. This statistic shows that 77% of women would prefer that men approach them more often than they currently do. But is that approach just an ego stroke that's not gonna go anywhere, or do the fellas actually have a chance?
Don't approach me. Don't talk to me. Thank you.
You should not be approaching women at the gym.
When will men learn to take a fucking hint?
Men do not want to approach women anymore.
Is approaching women a complete and total waste of time? Will women give you signs that they want you to come up and talk to them? And do women only respond well to men who approach them if they're conventionally attractive? All of these questions will be answered in today's video. With less and less men approaching women now, I had to get to the bottom of this, so I went and interviewed them and asked women myself how men should approach them if they're looking for success.
How should a man approach you if he wants to get your number?
I feel like just very friendly, being like, hi, like, introduce yourself, and just, like, start a conversation and then ask.
I would say, like, friendly, just be like, oh, how are you? Just friendly.
Probably just be straightforward, maybe compliment you first, and then say that you're pretty and that he'd like your number.
I feel like calmly and respectfully, I feel like if you're gonna walk up to somebody, don't be like, yo, it's my biggest pet peeve. And just like actually start a conversation first instead of just being like, can I get your number? Because that's awkward. Like you don't even know like my name or anything yet.
Respectfully, and maybe not in a being really aggressive and kind of making it look like you're in a rush, or if you're not so sincere, that can definitely like turn a girl away.
I would say respectfully, come up, say something. If I'm not interested, walk away. If I am interested, then I would keep talking. I mean, I'm not, just for the record, I have a boyfriend, but if he were to have approached me, I would want it to be respectful.
That's a good clarification. Good girl right here, yeah. What are some signs you would give a man if you want him to approach you?
I would say, like, if a girl's making eye contact with you, like, a couple times, I would say she's probably a little bit interested.
Like if a girl gives a smile to the guy and like maintains eye contact.
Probably just look at him.
Just look at him once?
No, just like, you know, the eyes.
What kind of eyes?
I'm not doing the eyes.
No, I'm not asking you to. I'm just curious.
Your attractive eyes, like yeah, I don't know, wave him over.
I feel like if there's a lot of eye contact or like body language is a big one. So like if you're in like a group, if someone's in a group but they're like facing you in the group, you know, I feel like that's a big one. Or like if they're like talking in a group yet somehow like you're not in the group but they're still like making eye contact with you and stuff. I feel like that's a big sign.
Typically girls that are interested in a guy will try on a minuscule level to get closer to him. We're all ice skating and I see somebody that I find attractive that I would pursue something with, I would maybe inch a little bit closer in hopes that he would recognize me and maybe make a move if he was also feeling the same way.
Maybe bump into him?
I don't know if I'm all that bold. I might skate near him, I might skate past him, maybe pull out like a new trick or something. Risk my life.
Do a little 540 for him?
Yeah.
I would say body language, being very open, positioning myself in a place where it would be easy for him to approach me.
You getting closer to him?
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
So these women want you to approach them. They even gave you the ideal blueprint of how you should do it if you want to be successful. But does that mean it's actually going to work for you? Probably not. We often hear about how dating apps are incredibly superficial and how most of the people who find success on there only do so because they are conventionally attractive, which is true. What less people are willing to admit, though, is that human beings are just as shallow in real life if they are in an unfamiliar environment. Studies show that you can tell whether you're attracted to somebody or not within a fraction of a second. The same study shows that you can actually like and subscribe to this channel just as quickly, like that. So yeah, hot people fuck, but we already knew that. The real question is, if you're average looking, or God forbid ugly, is it even worth it for you to try and rizz up the huzz in public? Or are you better off just gooning in your pod?
Do you think men should still approach women if they're broke or ugly?
I mean, yeah, like, you gotta shoot your shot, and maybe she'll, like, I don't know, some girls don't care about that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's broke right now, like,
Yeah. Confidence is attractive, so.
That's fair. I know that some guys are like, oh, they only want you to approach if you're cute, you know, that's why I was asking.
Got it.
people don't care about looks.
Yeah, you miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, why not? I feel like being like ugly is a subject, like is object. Yeah, it's subjective. Everybody has a different idea of what they're interested in, and so like you might feel like you're ugly, but somebody might not find you ugly.
I think so. I think it's worth a try. Yeah. Broke guys have never stopped me before.
Okay. Do you think it...
You gotta define broke and ugly to me. Give me an example.
Maybe broke could be like a guy who doesn't have a car.
I mean, I like I said, I host a show called Florida for Real, and I just had this conversation with my co-host. I feel like you need to have the funds to facilitate being able to take whoever on a date. So if you don't have a car, maybe you need to work on getting a car before you work on getting a girl, you know?
What would you guys do if a broke or ugly man approached you?
Just have a conversation. I don't know. I wouldn't like be like, oh, get away from me or something like that.
Yeah, I would say the same. I would have a conversation, see where things go.
I would just say, look, I appreciate it, but I'm not really looking for anything right now.
I would have the conversation, of course, and definitely treat them as if I was talking to somebody. Like even if I'm not attracted to them, that's still a person, and they have just as much worth and meaning as I do. So I can't act like they're less than me. Obviously, don't lead them on.
I would just not respond. Or I mean, I would be nice. I would be like, oh, yeah, nice. I mean, it's happened before. And I just was like, oh, thank you for your interest. And
A lot of these women's answers are very polite. They even encourage you to approach women if you are conventionally unattractive. And if you don't know whether or not you're attractive, you will find out very quickly. Now, are these women being sincere? I would hope so, but of course there's always a chance that they're being nice and modifying their actual answers to be more socially acceptable. There could be a Hawthorne effect taking place. Women can say whatever they want online, but the truth is there's always going to be variance to their reception to you as a man depending on how attractive you are or not. If a good-looking tall guy with a chiseled jawline approaches a woman, she's going to be a lot warmer to him than she would be to an oofy doofy that goes up to her. So basically, if you're not a 6'5" Chad with 2 boats and a house, this is probably what's going to happen when you approach a woman.
Pretty sure.
What do you mean you're a pickup
I'm a pickup. I'm pretty sure I can
fucking
disgusting scum of the earth.
Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but there's some truth to this. This is a cognitive bias that is known as the halo effect, which is where you automatically assume somebody's a good person if they're attractive to look at, and if somebody's ugly to look at, you automatically assume they're a bad person. It's human nature. Everybody does this shit. This is where the joke about the difference between flirting and sexual harassment comes from, because the exact same advance will be perceived completely differently based on how tall, dark, and handsome you are. And more men are becoming increasingly aware of this concept, which is why less and less men are approaching women in unfamiliar environments such as bars or nightclubs, and the women have definitely noticed.
In general, why do you guys think men are approaching women in public less and less?
This is kind of a basic answer, but I feel like social media, because it's kind of harder for teenagers to have normal conversations now. So I guess, and also probably a fear of rejection.
I would say the same thing. Definitely fear of rejection. A lot of people are scared that the girl's gonna just walk away or something. That's probably not the case.
But most nice girls will have a conversation with you, from my experience. I mean, there's definitely some people that are a little bit off-putting, but
Because their parents didn't raise them right.
Oh, that stinks.
I think it's mostly just because people are so mean nowadays. There's just a lot of times where if you approach somebody, they're just super judgy, especially if there's people in friend groups. People's friends can be so rude. I also feel a lot of people nowadays aren't raised with that mindset of if you're interested in talking to somebody, go meet them. Or it's so common now, people don't compliment each other on the streets. The last time I heard a compliment walking down the street from anybody directed towards anyone was probably a week ago.
Because they're scary and mean sometimes. Sometimes girls can be scary and mean. Sometimes they can be in a rush or where there's such a negative view of men sometimes, especially on social media.
I think there's kind of a man-hating
Yes.
bias online.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's there's a large group of people who are very on the hate men are awful and evil and mean. Yeah. But in reality there are good men. We know a lot of really good guys, and so but definitely one of the things that keeps men from approaching women is the fear of looking like an attacker or looking violent or looking grimy and horny.
I think they're scared of being seen as a predator. That's what I've heard from a lot of family members, a lot of guy friends. They don't want to be seen as someone that was too aggressive, too forward, make someone uncomfortable. So I think it's just and then also social media and online interactions and everything. We both said we met our significant others on apps. So it just makes it a little bit less organic and less normal for someone to come up and just strike up a conversation with you.
With all that being said, what do I think about approaching women? Well, not a whole lot, because I actually have a girlfriend, so I don't do that anymore. Now I just flirt with guys, but only Chad. That being said though, is approaching a woman a waste of time? Probably not. It's data, and you'll probably learn how attractive you are if you do it a couple times based on their reception. Realistically, what's the best that could possibly happen if you approach a woman? You could meet someone who is a life partner that you get along really well with, and that you could build a strong family unit with. That's the absolute best that could come from it. But the absolute worst that could come from it is it could ruin your fucking life and land you in a jail cell. Now, these are two extremes. Your results as a regular guy will probably be somewhere in between them. But it should not be understated how important looks are in today's dating landscape. Women today ranked close to 80% of men as below average in physical attractiveness on dating apps. And as we discussed already, that's probably the primary factor that will lead to you having success or not having success when approaching women, especially in an unfamiliar environment. I'd say focus on what's in your control, make yourself look as good as possible, join a community where you can meet other people, or join a cult, because I've heard the Scientology huzz are always down to fuck. But a familiar environment is a lot more forgiving when it comes to looks if you're not a Giga Chad than an unfamiliar environment, because you actually know the people you're talking to. But if you don't want to approach girls, I totally get it. I wish you the best of luck with whatever you decide to do. Let's fight this epidemic of having no bitches together, starting with you subscribing to the channel and sending this to one of your friends who also has no bitches. Alright gamers, I'll see you later. Iceman out.